Hi YouTube, it's Janelle here. In this video, as you guys can tell, I have a special guest.
Hi.
I have literally never done this before. Usually when I talk to people on the channel or like I invite guests, it's people that I met that are also influencers or that know, they have a blog or something. But Jaime, who's here today, is somebody that I met who literally just like was watching my videos.
Yeah, since 2016, 17.
Since 2016, 17. So I had literally just started maybe like a year into posting videos.
Yeah.
And then you followed me on Instagram.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, like, that's so sweet. You were like messaging me, like just sending me little quick like questions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we started interacting. And then probably another year after that, I changed jobs and I posted one day randomly on Instagram. I posted like, hey, I'm in California for work. Like, I'm in Palo Alto. Like, I've never been here before. If there's anybody here or near here or around here, like, give me tips about where to go and stuff. And then all of a sudden,
I was like, girl, let's get some dinner, girl.
Like, immediately I had like a DM in my inbox and I was like, oh, it's Jaime. Like, we had already been connected. And so then I was like, oh, hey, like, are you in the area? He's like, oh, I need to take you to like the real part where like the Latinos are at. Like, I need to show you around. Like, I can't believe you're in Palo Alto. Like, da da. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm here for work. So basically we just like connected and then forget about it. We've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
Which I'm so glad.
Me too.
I'm
me
so
too.
glad. And so, I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about everything, but I want to kind of first talk about like, how did you even find my videos? And then once we connected, like, you started telling me about your work, which I think is amazing. So I would love for you to share what you do for work. But yeah, so let's start with what did you even find my videos?
So it was late 2016 and I had just recently, so like I had like a breakdown when I was like 29 and I still owed like $30,000 in student loans. And I was like, I'm never going to finish paying this off. And like that whole thing where like you keep sending the minimum payment and it doesn't decrease and it doesn't decrease. But this was after my master's. So like, I was like, at this point, I was making what I considered decent money because, I grew up poor. So, like, to me, a paycheck was like a gazillion dollars.
Right.
And so what I did was I ended up moving back into my parents' house for a short period of time. And
Just like me, I did the same thing.
in 20 months, I paid off $30,000.
Oh, my goodness. I paid $20,000 in 18 months.
Yeah.
You paid $30,000 in 20 months.
In 20 months,
So even going even harder than I was going.
Yeah.
That's
just
crazy.
Well, at the time, I was like, this is how much I would pay for like a 2-bedroom apartment.
Right.
And so I was like doing the calculations in my area. And so what I really wanted was to get rid of that debt. Because in my mind, I was like, that's not even mine to begin with.
That's right.
And so I was really happy that I ended up doing that because then I felt like, wow, I have all this extra income.
Yeah.
What do I do with
Exactly.
it? And so I was like YouTubing and I was just like playing around and one of your videos came up as a suggestion. And so then I clicked on it and I watched it and I was like, immediately I was like, we're going to be friends. And so
one day, somehow.
we're going to be friends.
I love
and it was like really helpful because then I started watching more of your videos.
Yeah.
And so I still show all my kids like your retirement video. It's like one of your oldest videos. But I'm like, this is the homie Yaneli and you need to listen to her. You need to take off you need to stop Snapchatting for the next 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Pay attention to something else.
Sometimes I even like move it to like the second minute after you're done talking to the book where you start
After
talking about it.
intro.
And I was like, because, my kids' attention span
is this short. So you guys can do that. You could like get a YouTube video and pause it at a certain minute and then send that part so it just starts playing. A lot of people have been telling me, girl, your intro's too long. All right, guys. I hear you. I'm going to cut my intro shorter, but it's true. Like a lot of times it's harder to just cut to the chase, but giving them just that juicy part. So if you're finding a video, even if it's not on my channel, anywhere on the YouTube, and you feel like, oh, there's somebody that needs to watch this, especially young students, young people, college, post-college grads, like just cut to the chase, snip to the part where it's the good stuff, the meat that you want them to watch, and send that clip because it can really help. I mean, they need to hear this stuff. Like most people are not talking about money. First of all, let's rewind. So then you said, I send your videos to my kids all the time. So who are your kids?
So I work as a college-bound director, and so I help students get to college. And what I'm noticing as that my career has progressed is that once they're getting their degrees, they're like not knowing how to like manage their money. And I felt like them very much. I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and I don't know how to like live below my means. I don't know how my parents survived. Like neither of them were fortunate enough to get a college degree. And so I knew that I had to learn something so that I could learn to manage my money, improve my credit score, and then achieve some of the things that people want to achieve. And
yep. And the reason why your parents came here, so Jaime's parents came from Mexico. My parents are from Dominican, but it's a lot of Latino families, especially when you have like immigration in your first generation, it's a very similar experience, right? Yeah. And so the reason why your parents came here was so you can get opportunities, so you can get an education, so that you can get the things that they couldn't get in their country. Yeah. So for you to just like get the degree and then spend the rest of your life paycheck to paycheck would be like it would be like a slap in the face to your mom and dad for all the struggle that they did for you to have more opportunities. So it's kind of like there's a pressure for first generation students and for first generation Americans and first generation college grads, and to really like, you got to do more. You can't just get to college and then that's it. That's not enough. So there's this pressure to like, figure out the financial piece and to break that generational poverty and to figure out what is the thing that's going to help me, at least if not establish generational wealth, at least start to get on the path for that for the future generation. So you already are doing that because you're a homeowner. You're a freaking homeowner. Like, so how the hell did you get there from $30,000 of debt? You paid that off, and now you're a homeowner. Like, that's crazy.
So that happened like maybe a year after that. So I started watching your YouTube videos, and so then I was like, I really need to figure out what like my retirement plan is at work. And so I remember I would email you, and you were like, "That's easy. You just got to look at what
the options.
The options are, right?" And I was like, I would sit there and I'd be like, I don't know what this means. But I remember one time I brought it to you and you were like, oh, yeah. This is what it means, like royalty price. And you explained everything to me so clearly. And maybe that was like the second time.
And then I convinced you to do Vanguard Total Stock Market. And you ended up doing Vanguard. You started with your Roth IRA there, right? And you maxed it out.
I'm maxing it out, yes. So I started my Vanguard there, and and now that I've maxed that out, I'm also adding a little bit to my employer contribution, and then I'm also sending a little bit more money to my mortgage. So
good.
This
you can
August,
get done a little earlier.
Yeah,
nice.
This August I will have 2 years with my house, but I'll have paid off 3.
Woo!
So, and it's not a lot of money. So, like, I send maybe $100 to $150 extra. Okay. But I was like, girl, that's a good weekend.
Yep.
That's a good night.
So in some places in the world like this right here,
so
California.
The Bay Area.
It's so expensive here.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that like me and Jaime, we connected so quickly, easily because we have like, it's a very similar experience of how we grew up. So in my neighborhood, and I talked about this on my channel, where I grew up in a place where the neighborhood was not good when I was growing up there and nobody wanted to live there. Yes, there was like some crime and a lot of like violence and stuff, but like that the community was
crimes of poverty.
Exactly. It's because of poverty. Like that's usually the root of it. But you sort of like, you stick through because there's a sense of community. Like everybody had each other's back. Like certain people were looking out for other people's kids. And like, I always grew up with that community feel. But then now in the past like 15 to 10 years recently, my neighborhood in Brooklyn, Bushwick, it's changed so much. And so when I came to Palo Alto and I started, doing projects here for work, I saw East Palo Alto was experiencing that. And when you grew up, and I was like, you were telling me all the changes that have been happening because of the tech. And I was like, it's crazy because a lot of that has happened in my neighborhood too. Because even though we're on total opposite coasts of the country,
we're experiencing the same phenomenon.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, wow, I can't even afford to rent in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Like, that was really scary, right? And my parents are like, well, you got a good paying job and you had all these opportunities. And so luckily, like, my discipline with the money, like paying off my student loans, that allowed me to, like, I did that for a few months and I was able to develop a little down payment. And so because of that and because I had paid off all my credit cards, so I had no credit card debt. And luckily before that I had no credit card debt, but my loans were the things that were like my burdens. My credit score was above a 720.
Nice.
And so when I ran my credit, they were like, like the brokers there, they're in it to like make money. So when they were like, oh, this is how much you can afford, I was like, wow.
They
were
trying to sell you way more than you needed.
Yeah. And so at first I was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that or I'm not, right?
Oh, I'm glad because I thought you were going to say at first you were tempted because at first it's tempting. You're like, you can have that much?
Well, what I ended up doing was I was really stubborn and I really wanted to live in certain locations.
Right.
But certain locations were out of my budget. However, my realtor and my broker were then like, you know, like, what are you comfortable with? They were asking me very honest questions. And so when I answered all of those questions, my realtor was actually like, if we just move like 2 miles away, I can get you something bigger. Because what I wanted was a studio for myself.
Yeah.
And so that's all I thought I wanted. And so he was like, let me get you a 2-bedroom. He's like, you don't think you need the space. But then now I rent my extra bedroom out. And that's passive income that I never thought
we're literally
possible.
in his apartment right now. And you guys, it's so cute. I mean, I'm not going to do like a whole tour, but it's so adorable. You have so much space, closet space. The kitchen is adorable. Like, you have 2 bedrooms. I mean, this is so much better than if you would have just got a studio, because now you actually can, literally are generating passive income from that bedroom. Yeah. But how did you pick your broker and your realtor? Because I know a lot of people, it's hard to trust people in the industry, and you were new to being a homeowner. So how did you like go about doing that?
So I started like doing research online, and I ended up becoming friends with the guy who became my broker. He would answer all my questions about home ownership before. Like, he would never try to sell me no products or nothing. And I could tell that he was like genuinely interested in like providing me with the best service. And so with him was who I learned about like what like mortgages were, and how much was a good interest rate or bad interest rate, or like what an FHA loan was. Like, he broke everything down and had so much patience for me before I even like committed. So we talked back and forth for like a good year before I made a decision. So, and I had talked to like 3 brokers before, and right away they were trying to either like sell me life insurance, to come in for a meeting, or
life insurance.
And I was like, girl, and I was like, I don't need to buy a product.
She don't need that. Right? She don't need.
Girl, after I bought my condo though, I bought life insurance because, you know, like, I have nieces and nephews now, and so I'm trying to give them a little piece of the puzzle, you know, and so, but again, everything was done. I trust him so much. And then my realtor was somebody that he recommended, and he was like, you know what, like, test out your waters. So I went with him. My sister had a realtor from before, and I ended up picking one of my fraternity brothers who was so patient with me, because I would be like, I really want a studio condo in the downtown area, and then,
but I can only afford half of that.
And then he would find me like the most broken down studio. No. Like,
he's like, this is in your budget.
This is in your budget. And then I was like, I'm not a handyman, girl. Like, she is not gonna tear up this carpet, girl. Bye. So when he found me this place, I was like, girl, look at the hardwood floors, girl. Like, stainless steel.
I can move in tomorrow.
So luckily, my realtor had a lot of patience for me. I mean, we were just.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I would say shop around, because they are the ones who are like looking for your trust, essentially, right? And so you're making a big life commitment. And I felt with my broker, he totally eased the process, and then I felt way better about making my life decision.
Exactly.
But I told you this before, like, for my group of friends, like, everybody's either moving down south, and I was like, I'm a Bay kid. Like, I know I'm going to stay here. My parents are here. My nieces and nephews are all here. They're like under the age of 5. Like, girl, I'm going to see them grow up here. So I'm like, no, it was time for me to, like, quote unquote settle down. Adulting.
You had to start adulting.
And
I hear that a lot too. Like, I live in New York City. New York City and the Bay are probably the 2 most expensive cities in America. And for me, it's really, I know that it's a struggle to do real estate in New York City. It's not a goal of mine anytime soon, because I'm just like, I ain't gonna be on this level, because New York City is just unrealistic to do real estate. But at least in my mind, I'm kind of like, I know that I need to be in or near New York City because of that. My family and my family values, all this stuff. So, like, it's really hard for me to imagine living in another place. So sometimes you just have to make that decision. Like, what is my life going to look like 5-10 years from now? And you always have to be thinking ahead. You knew you wanted to be here. Where there's a will, there's a way. You saved enough money. You paid off the debt. You increased that credit score.
I did.
Right? Once that utilization went down, that score went up.
That did.
And bam, you have 720 or higher. Now, I bet you got a really good mortgage interest rate. So it just...
And actually, I got it right before the mortgage interest rates started going up. So it was like, the timing was so perfect, because everybody was like, the prices are going up, and I've seen it.
The Fed just raised interest rates actually like a few months back,
and it's wild to me. So that came at a good time. And even one of my coworkers who had bought a house like 10 years before was like, I don't know if this is a good time to buy. He keeps telling me, like, he checks my property value. He's like, did you see it went up? And I was like, no, but thank you for the information. Yeah.
Now I know.
So yeah.
Well, that's good. It was like, it seemed like it was the right move for you. Now you're a homeowner. And like having a stable job, like you work in education. You've been doing this for a really long time. You're really good at what you do. You help so many kids get to some amazing colleges on scholarships and all kinds of, I mean, I feel like we need to do like a separate video just on that. I mean, your skill set in bringing students from...
Well, that's how when I tell the kids, remember earlier I was telling you how I advertised, I was like, do you want to get $50,000 for free? Literally do your homework. But, you know, they're little freshmen in high school. So I'm like,
it's hard.
Well, I'd be breaking it down for them. And they're like, oh, I can get $50,000.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm like, that covers one of the most expensive public schools in California. So let's figure out how we're going to make that happen.
Right. And a lot of times what it is too is students, like, if you grow up in a community where like everybody you know is not really prioritizing academics and it's not cool to be in school and all that stuff, like it's hard for you to imagine yourself going to one of these colleges or that it's even a possibility for you. So when you have somebody who's like from the same experience, background, and community as you, telling you straight up, this is what you need to do and wake up, you can do this, you can attain this, I can help you. That is so empowering. It's like we need more Jaimes. We need more, like, this is what we need more, because like I didn't really have that.
When I found you, I was like, oh my God, yes, this is all knowledge that I don't have.
Right.
And so like I started consuming your videos. I was like sharing them with all my friends. My friends were like, thank you, let's discuss this video. And I'm like, let's hit her up on Instagram. Like, she answers questions. And so that's when I was like,
because then I actually met up with you.
Yeah.
We went to eat and we met up and we talked. Yeah. And I was like,
and at first it was kind of weird, you know, because I was like her groupie, you know. But now I was like, almost totally your groupie. I was like, I love you. And then I was like, wow, she's kind of normal. Like,
I am normal. Wow. Oh my God. Did you think I was not normal?
I don't know. You know,
I was
like,
a prima donna. Like,
I was like, she's on the internet. You know?
Everybody's on the internet, Jaime. Oh my God.
I've never met a celebrity from YouTube before. So then after I was like, oh yeah, she a homie. I love her.
Yeah,
so,
I am the homie. Yeah. No, I'm so glad though, because now we're actually really cool. Every time I come out West Coast, I'm like, I'm coming to the West Coast again.
Yeah, and I was like, you let me know when you're free at night, girl, because we need to have some dinner.
And now you have your own place, so I can come over here. That's like true. Now you're debt free except for the mortgage.
Except for the mortgage. And I think about it. I think about how like rents are higher than my mortgage. So like this is me getting to keep my little piece of heaven, and other people are renting and they're paying so much more than I am. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh man, like I'm really, really grateful for that. Yep. So
it sounds like you made the right move at the right time, which is amazing. I'm still renting. I'm not even on your level yet. Like I'm not even level
I'm trying
homeowner.
To be at your level.
I'm not homeowner status yet, but you know, again, everybody has their thing that they've, you know, kind of capitalized on. Like you're already gonna be a homeowner in a few more years. You're gonna be completely debt free from the house, and you're gonna be good. And like, you know, for me, real estate is not the avenue that has helped me in that way, but the stock market is. And so I feel like, you know, again, it's just about education and understanding like what it is that you need to do to make sure that in a few more years, like you're securing the bag for the future. You can't be worried about today, tomorrow. You got to worry about 10 years from now. Am I going to be all right? And that's hard to do when you're young. But if you could kind of start getting to that place, you'll be all right. You'll be doing all right.
That's true.
All right. Any last tips? Any last things you want to tell the people that watch us on Team Be Helpful?
I definitely do think that you should watch. You know, these videos are so much fun. I have the email directly, so it pops up on my phone.
That's right. Whenever I post live.
It's true. And she does answer all your emails and questions. She has the phone number for any call questions. So I definitely encourage you all, if you guys have any questions. She's super knowledgeable. She's like my college counselor of the money. The baddest money bee.
Yes, I love that. And honestly, I think you were the person that told me like Team Be Helpful and Money Bees. And I was like, I love this. And now I use Team Be Helpful a lot. Like I'll hashtag Team Be Helpful. And like I started using it. So
go for it, girl.
It came from him, not from me.
No, yeah. I was like, this is like your gift to the world.
Aww,
so
thank you.
I appreciate you, girl.
I appreciate you. Well, thank you for coming onto the channel and sharing your story and telling everybody about how you found me and how you found all these resources and how you transformed your life. If you guys have questions for Jaime, like maybe you guys can put them in the comments and Jaime just like respond to them, get in touch with people because he's super smart. I mean, this man clearly transformed his life like this and
help people go to college in California.
And if you live in California and you're in high school right now, he's the person to hook you up and to reach out to. So if you guys know any students in California that need resources around college access, this is the man to connect them with. Seriously, he's amazing. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and till next time, peace.